Hi, everybody. I know it's unexpected. Unexpected to me too. I wasn't going to come on. But I said I would share what's going on with you, and I'm going to. Let me look. Hey, stop going mad. Stop going nuts. Oh, ouch. Ow. Look at my phone. Have you had my phone? Oh, gosh. Where's it put my phone? Have you got my phone? Oh, I'll have to use the restroom. I can't find it. It's odd. Hey! Ow! Stop it. Oh, there it is. All these emails. Oh, no. Where is everybody? 28 emails. That's because it's changed to 02. Nuisance. Go away. Not interested. Go away. Look at the three girls. Harriet, Bunny, and Baby. Harriet, you funny little thing. What are you doing down there? Are you sleepy? Poor baby. Oh. and trashes. Come on. Harriet. Harriet. Where have you gone? Hi, Nova. Hi, Furio. I'm here. I was just sorting Harriet out. So I said I'd show you the journey I'm on, didn't I? So I've chopped my hair. My ulcer is playing up. I had one 6 years ago that almost killed me, and I'm having the same problems now. I'm in a lot of pain with it, and my teeth have gone. I said I'd show you. If anybody's going through similar with teeth or with anything else, hi Furio, I would really, really, really advise you to go and get it sorted out, because it's not going to get any better. It's all right, Furio. It's okay. It was caused, my teeth were beautiful. I'll post a picture later. They were gorgeous. Everybody used to comment on them. Everybody. And what happened was I was given electronic. It's all right, Nova. It's all right. I was given tablets, pills, hyaluronic acid and zoledronic acid for the osteoporosis. Yeah, Nova, you did. Well, the dentist at the hospital did. My own dentist is going to see me on next week on Tuesday, I think. And I know that 2 more teeth need to come out. They don't want to take more. And everything is just so painful. I don't mean physically, although there's that. I mean that psychologically too. I'm missing out so much and reliving everything. My son's been here all day. He went about half an hour ago. It's been wonderful. They came to collect that bloody bed, which was like lying on a piece of iron. It was so hard. It was so high. It was horrible. I only spent a few hours on it. I had to come back out to the couch here because I put the other bed up in the top room for guests. And I've ordered a Simba mattress, and which is coming on Monday, and a bed frame a nice bed frame, which is coming next weekend, a low one. My health is deteriorating very fast. Yeah. Thank you, Furio. Yeah, no, but you do know. I just miss him, and I dream of him and the family and his sister, who I was close to, who passed away last 1st of August, 1st of October last year. Yeah, that bed was a nightmare now, but I didn't expect it to be that high, to be honest. And they should really put in the adverts that, they should put a reasonable description. They didn't do that. This was the top of their range bed, which, because it was top of the range, I thought, look at my hair. I've just chopped it, because it was top of the range. I thought it was going to be comfortable. It was bloody awful to lie on. I just couldn't. I came out here, and then I had to wrangle with them about collecting it. They didn't want to. They're a family business, blah, 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 blah. They need to put the descriptions in properly. They advertised it with a headboard and it came 2 days late. So my son lost 2 days off work. He's taken today as one of his holidays to be here when the man came to collect it. And I kept it in case Harriet jumped on it. I kept it with a cover on, 2 covers on, to keep, Harriet's little claws off it if she went in the room, and dust. So I was very careful about it being clean and nice to go back, whatever they chose to do with it. But the man who collected it got the mattress down the stairs. He's ripped all the mattress. I've got some pictures. He's ripped all the mattress. My son took the pictures and sent them to the company. We didn't do that. He ripped all the mattress. Thank you, Furio. And he dragged the divan part down the driveway. So all the velvet on that was coming off. So anyway, it's gone. And we've come to an agreement that they collected the bed. They will reimburse me for all the problems. But I have to take the bad review off. And my son has to take his review off. I'm willing to do that. I just want the money back in my bank. I'll take the reviews off and call it a day, It never goes away, Nova. I don't believe it can. And your husband died before mine, didn't he? Noel died before Alf. It's just like, it doesn't seem worth living anymore. I hate coming on and crying, but I'm crying all the time. The plan after, Furio. You mean the plan after? Well, dentist Tuesday, the tooth that had the abscess has become loose. So that's going to have to come out. All there is going to have to come out. And then they're leaving the rest, they said. But I've asked them to take them all out. Girl. And it is one thing after another. They can do implants. I can't remember what they call the Zygast or something, where they actually, because the hyaluronic acid infusions killed, necrosis of the jaw. That's why I've lost my teeth, because of the medication, because of the infusions. I had 4 or 5 of them after the pills, and each infusion apparently stays in your system for 30 years, so I've got no chance with 5 of them. And what they didn't tell me was it can badly affect your gums and your teeth if you've ever had any problems. And, I recently had a root canal and a filling, but my teeth were all intact, they're fine. And then gradually they started to go funny, loosen. And I went to the hospital because I had a really bad toothache. And that's when he said about my jaw. Hi, Dan. About my jaw, necrosis of the jaw, which is, your jaw's dead, basically. So I can't have implants there, but I can have implants, and they'll drill into my cheekbones, Zygast or something, which I'd have to pay for. It's going to cost me thousands, but it isn't the money. I don't want the pain, and I've got no vanity. Look, I've got no vanity. They took my teeth out. Why have I got any vanity? I haven't anymore. I haven't for a long time. So, Tuesday when I go, I expect my dentist to do that tooth, because I think if I wiggled it a lot, I'd probably be able to pull it out myself. That's the one that had the abscess. That one's gone funny, that's got to go. And so I'm just going to ask for the very best that they can give me, and I'm willing to pay for them. I don't want them to cause me difficulty, Well, yeah, Furio. And the thing is, I remember one day, and I'd gone to the local pub, which I need to go to again because I haven't been out. Haven't been out the house since I went to the dentist. Just haven't done anything. And I've isolated myself. Don't do it. Don't do what? With the cheekbones. No, I'm not doing it. At my age, at 73, why do I want to go through all that? I don't. You understand Nova as well. So he'll take 2 out on Tuesday, and we'll decide what we're going to do and what I'm going to have. Porcelain teeth, maybe. But at least I'll have some. So I know for a fact. Hi, QZ. Thank you. Look, no teeth. They're gone. The medication that caused it, the hyaluronic acid that caused all this, they throw a leaflet at you, right? Who reads that leaflet and thinks, oh my gosh, that could happen to me? You don't, because you ask them at the hospital, you ask their advice. Hi, Mike. Oh, did you, darling? I had all these gone. they throw the leaflet at you. They don't tell you. Maybe I'm a baby. Maybe I should have read it properly, and maybe I should have. But what I was saying was, I went to the pub, and there was a lady there, and she'd been offered. She'd got osteoporosis like me, and and she'd been offered the same treatment, and she refused it. She just didn't want that stuff in her body, and she was very, very wise. Oh, Mike, you're an angel. without anything, a bit of Nivea on my face for the first time in weeks, that's all. How are you, Mike? How are you now? Yes, Furio. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hi, Beach Babe. They should tell you, not just throw a leaflet at you. They should tell you. And when I went to the hospital, they asked me, oh my gosh, they said, we've had sleepless nights over you. Because I had to do work on my jaw, and this was 6 years ago. You've seen the photos on the community post. And he said, did they tell you? Did they emphasise what that medication could cause? Your jaw's dead. Gone. No, they didn't. They just gave me a leaflet. Scary having teeth pulled. Well, I've got all of these are gone, Mike. All of them. All of them. And then I've got to go on Tuesday to have. He's going to have a look and see what he's going to do. But I know he's going to take the one that had the abscess. It's not paining me now. He's going to take that out because it's moving back and forwards like a door in the wind. So that's going to go. And then this is going to go. And then I've got no teeth. I'll be walking around with no teeth. And you know what? I don't care, really. I've gone back to my babyhood. Beach Babe, you're lovely. You're so supportive. The back, upper and lower. Were they wisdom, Mike? Wisdom teeth? So he'll take 2 out on Tuesday. He'll decide what he's going to do. Well, he won't. He will discuss with me what he's going to do. Nobody else is going to decide. Nobody is ever going to decide again what's going to go in my body. They've buggered me up. Yeah, Furio, absolutely right. Oh, Mike, thank you. But, you know, I'm not going to hide. And the reason I've come on, to be quite honest with you, is not to cry. And although I haven't stopped crying for weeks, not about my teeth, about my husband. And he comes to me in dreams all the time. Do you know that? I will have to pay for what they're going to do to me. I'm not paying for those implants, so they drill into my cheekbones. Can you imagine that? Absolutely not. No, no, no. No, not having it, don't want it. Hello? Hello, you're going to sleep again. So we'll discuss what I can have. I know you mourn, Mike. I have found the most amazing man. Hi, Stacey. At 81, did he, Stacey? Alf still had all his teeth, you know. But as Furio said, they should have emphasised what the medication could cause. And also asked me whether I had any problems in my mouth. I just had a root canal. They should have. Yes, Furio, I'm having something like that, but I don't want the clumpy things that are going to make me feel ugh. I want something light, and I'll pay for them. You know, I've set aside £5,000. It's not going to come to that because the extractions are going to be done on the NHS. Oh, Stacey, I'm so sorry about your dad, look. So the extractions will be on the NHS, but the whatever they make for me are going to be, you know, I'll have to pay for. I don't mind. Well, do you know what, Furio? I don't smoke. I don't drink. If I go to the pub, I'll have a maximum of 2 glasses of wine. And usually I'll buy one and somebody goes and gets me another one. And that's about it. You know, I'll go out with my kids. So Mike has talked about his loss, and we all do. I those fuckers at the nursing home, the fuckers at Kingfisher nursing home, left my husband hungry, thirsty. So he was malnourished, totally thirsty. He'd lost so much weight. His nails, which he was always particular about, were ingrained with dirt. His hair was like a man who lived on the street. Kingfisher nursing home. One of the best. Bastards. I went every single day for 4 or 5 hours, every day. And you'll see the videos somewhere. I used to make soups overnight. Used to make smoothies. I used to bake bread, fresh bread in the morning, all to take to him. I used to feed him his breakfast. I used to feed him his lunch. They had to be on the ball, and there were so many times I had to pick them up. Parkinson's medication has got to be given on the dot, and so many times it wasn't. They left him dehydrated. So there was one day when he first went there, and he'd been like this. He was fine, you know, at first. He would sit at the table for a meal. And then there was one day when I went in and he was sitting there and there was nothing there. He looked half dead. There was nothing. It wasn't one day. It happened on a few days. The one day she took his blood pressure right down low. Had to get liquid into him. Yeah, Mike Alf should have gone to the Star and Garter in Solihull. He should have gone there. He had a place reserved there, and Solihull Council buggered that up. I can't even recall all the things that happened, but I'm sure these are the things that caused the ulcer to burst 6 years ago because it was so stressful. Yes, Stacey, F them. And they, you know, they left him. And then one day I went in and he was awful. And as it happened, his doctor came in, and the doctor was wonderful. And I said, you know, when he first came in here, he could sit at the table. Look at him now. He's half dead. And the doctor looked at the records. You know what they've been doing? They've been sticking him with sedatives every single day that he didn't need. They knocked him out every fucking day. That was stopped. And I was on the ball all the time. I took him clean clothes in. I made sure everything was right. The medication was right. And then when this COVID business started, we couldn't go to see him. We couldn't go. They would send a picture and say he was fine. We would contact them. He was fine. And then after about 2 months, we got a call to say that Alf's in hospital. You need to go. And my youngest son got that call, and my eldest son was here. Phoned my daughter and my grandson. And we all went to the hospital in a room, and the doctor came in and said he couldn't breathe, and he was malnourished, dehydrated, looked like a tramp. And the doctor said he couldn't breathe when they got him there, and they had to revive him, and they put him on a ventilator. And then the doctor said, but we've decided to take him off the ventilator. And I said, why? Why are you taking him off the ventilator if he needs it? Are you saying his life isn't worth saving? Is he going to die? And the doctor said, he's breathing on his own now, and the next 24 hours are crucial. Fucking liar. Heartlands Hospital. Fucking liars. We went into the room where Alf was lying on a bedsing. Yeah, Mike. I hope he did. I hope he did. I hope he did. I hope he did. And he was lying on this bedding, and he looked awful. He looked unkempt. He was thin and ragged. Kingfisher nursing home. His nails. He looked as though he'd been gardening. And me, our 3 children and grandchildren, we were all there. And we didn't know what was going to happen. There were 2 nurses at the door standing there like spectators. There was a female doctor who kept coming and checking his fucking pulse. Wouldn't put him back on the ventilator. He was covered with a thin sheet. It was August, but it was chilly. I asked for a blanket. I can't remember whether they brought it. I don't remember. I remember just holding him and kissing him and stroking him and massaging him. And within 30 minutes, he'd gone. And I was kissing his face and holding him, and the doctor said, "Can I just get in there?" And she got in, and she turned round to me and she said, "I'm sorry, he's gone." It was unbelievable. And I just carried on massaging him, walking around him, massaging his feet, and I collapsed, and my grandson caught me. And then we left the room. We went into another room and they said, we'll call you. You can come and stay as long as you like with him. Yes, Stacey, we do. Hi, Greg Grebo. And we waited, and then we went into the room where they brought him in, and I was just shocked because I was lying there. He'd have hated it. They'd put him in a shroud, like a frilly white neck. He'd have hated it. And we stayed there for a long time until we had to leave. We had to leave. And we walked out, and they were waiting there with one of those trolleys that they take bodies into the mortuary. My son, arranged our funeral, and it was wonderful. It was the greatest send-off. Tuesday we were. The funeral directors, I can't praise them enough. Bastocks, family business, can't praise them enough. And they fetched Alf away from the hospital and took him to their place, which isn't far from me. They allowed me to help dress him, do his shirt up, and do his tie. And it was a lovely funeral. Although you could only have 15 people there because of COVID, we still had the hearse and 3 cars, and the neighbours all came out because he went from here. 2 of the good nurses from Kingfisher came, and I was appreciative of them. And I knelt at the grave and I was talking to him. And I remember my oldest son was at one side. He told me afterwards, he said the funeral director was at the other, and he thought I was going to throw myself in. And that was it. Yes, Mike. Oh, Mike, yes. Yeah, and now dress him. Oh my God, he would have loved the way I did his tie. Thank you, Linda. I didn't come on to talk about health. Why have I done this? I came on, really, to show you my journey with my teeth. Toughness, look. Because of the jaw necrosis, and it's not going to stop me coming on it. It's not going to stop me going out. You asleep again. And I'll show you. Tuesday, another one tussie's going to come out. Maybe two. Maybe I'll have to go to the hospital. I don't know whether he'll do them. And then it's going to be decided what they're going to do. And they're talking about having, because my jaw's dead, which is what caused the loss of the teeth. I can't have ordinary implants, but I can have, I think it's called Zeitgeist. It's something like that. And what they do, they implant it, as I said, into your cheekbones. I'm not having that. I'm just going to have something nice and something light. And I'm not going to do all that. Oh no, but I know you love me and I love you too. Thank you. Linda, it was out of my control. And I'll tell you why it was out of my control. Alfie had Parkinson's disease for 25 years. I went with him to all the appointments with the neurologist. And I was there when he was told he got Parkinson's disease. I already knew. Or I'd already guessed. With the shakes and the way he was walking. And sometimes, before I did realise, I used to say to him, what's wrong with your face? Stop being so miserable. And it wasn't him. It was the disease. And I didn't know. "25 years. He was so brave. He was fucking brave. And it wasn't the shakes and the physical. Hello, Demelza. Hello, my love. It wasn't the physical that got Alf in the finish. It was the dementia, the Lewy body dementia. And you know what? Foodie Beauty and Missy Moo have made fun of that. You pair of cunts. That's all you are. Pair of cunts. Stuff it. You're just a pair of gluttonous pigs who are actually unaliving yourselves on YouTube for money, or at least Foodie is doing it for money that she's not going to be around to spend. Ha ha, the laugh is on you. When he became ill, well, when he died, he was 60 odd when he became ill, 59, 60, and he died when he was 82. Taco noodles, thank you. It doesn't, isn't it funny? It doesn't bother me because I wanted to come on and show people it's nothing to be frightened of. Why be frightened of losing teeth? Mine weren't lost through something I did. They were lost through stuff that was pumped into my body for osteoporosis. That's why. Killed my jaws. So the teeth have got nothing to cling on to. Yeah, it was, Stacey, a long journey. So I just want people to know that, don't worry about losing teeth. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'm not worried. None. I have to admit, that in the last 2 weeks I've lost a stone in weight. I've gone down to just over 7 stone. And that's not because I can't eat, because I could eat. I just don't want to. I love you all. I really do. You are so, so supportive. And if I can help anybody, that's going to be a blessing to me. It really will. Anyway, I was saying I found this fabulous man, K. Ray High. Yeah, when children have no teeth, it's cute. And then when adults lose their teeth, people make comments. Well, I know Chubby Features are going to make comments about, oh, get on with it. You know, what's happened to me wasn't through anything I did or gluttony. It was through medical intervention for something else. He did hang in there, and he would, the medicine for osteoporosis, there was 2 that they gave me that caused this. And that was mainly the alendronic acid, Aldronic, alendronic acid. That stuff. And zoledronic acid. And as I say, they gave me it in pill form for a while, a couple of years, 3 years maybe. And then they started to give me the infusions. I can't remember whether it was every 6 months or every year, but I had about 4 or 5 of them. And the dentist said, they stay in your body for 30 years. Did they not tell you what they could do to your jaw? Did they not tell you? They didn't tell me. They gave me a leaflet. It is life, Nova. It's life. And, you know, when it's something that you can't help. But alendronic, sorry, yeah, Nova. Oh, Linda. You reminded me. This is absolutely true. I've never been with anybody when they've died. And it was right that I would be there with Alf. And I was standing right by his head and holding him. And all of a sudden, Alf had these fantastic, really blue eyes, like, you know, like the Caribbean, that sort of blue. And often, because of, you know, the Parkinson's, his eyes would be shuttered a bit sometimes. But yeah, you're right, Linda, when I stood by him, his eyes open wide like this, and he looked over to the corner of the room. There was nobody there that we could see. I'm convinced it was Alf's beautiful mum. And just one tear came out of his eye. And it was gone. Yeah, alendronic acid, and it's also taken for cancer. There's zoledronic acid as well. But that was such a, how can I say it? It was such a, if I can say wonderful death, it was a wonderful death. We were all there, but when he opened his eyes like that and looked, He hadn't done that for years, opened his eyes like that. Never. He couldn't. And they were wide open and they were looking straight in the corner. And then just one tear. I think it was his mum, Stacey. Okay, right. If ever, you know, a woman was, she never criticised anybody. Never, ever, 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 ever. And she was just supportive and lovely, and I loved her very much, Alf's mum. I hope so, Stacey. I hope so. Do you think so, Mike, really? Cusie, I'm sorry about your mum. Thing is, Furio, yes, why is it used? Because I doubt that there's anybody who doesn't have a filling or a root canal or a missing tooth or something. And if they have that, avoid that bloody stuff. Avoid it like the plague. What happened, if you don't mind me asking, Cusie, with your mum? I know, Mike. I know you loved your mum. Love never dies. No, it doesn't. Do you know what the Mel say? It doesn't die. And in fact, what I found is it deepens. It just deepens. Alf was my soulmate. You know, even when I went to work in Saudi Arabia, I shouldn't have gone. I was flattered to be asked to go to that dump and earn a lot of money, but I shouldn't have gone. And there was a lot of things I shouldn't have done, but Alf always supported me. Always. I'd have nothing if it wasn't for him. Nothing. I love how you've all got this belief. Let me tell you about this wonderful man I found. My phone's changed over to O2 last night. It's gone really strange. Go away. No, where is he? Right. His name is. I'm gonna.
These are all vows.
Oh,
there's vows of poverty some of us have taken. You know, nuns and priests in other lifetimes. There's vows we've said, I'll never do this again. The more solid the vow is going to be based on how intense you were when you made that vow. If you were kind of taking it lightly in your mind, it's lightly made. And he's more easily dispersed.
This
but
man.
Some of us made vows, man, and I mean, they were life and death vows.
His name.
Vows to friendship.
Is Michael Murdad. And he's just what I need. And he's got this that video. My son's been on my phone. This video in this video is talking about soul contracts. Well, I mention them the other day because I'd heard about years ago that we choose to come into this life, we choose the sort of problems we have, we choose our own learning curve. This man, his videos, he's talking here. I don't know whether you can see. You probably can't. But the title of this video is Soul Contracts, Making Them and Breaking Them. He's got 599,000 views. Michael Murdad. I thoroughly recommend him, and I'm going to post a video of his later. Oh my gosh, Linda. That's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. QZ, exactly. With Alf. Exactly. He was trapped in a body that physically had failed him from 25 years earlier. I mean, how strong must a man be to go through all that? And it was only in the last 7 years of those 25 that he became really ill. I used to think, and I'm probably wrong, I do feel him around me, Stacey. I hope that for you. I hope that for you. I didn't know about your husband. I'm very sorry, my darling. Furio, I'll be able to. Of course I'll. Oh, it's still slow. Not going to stop. And I'll post a picture on the community post of when I was, all my teeth. Oh my gosh, they were beautiful. Our sister, eldest sister, when I first met her first words to me, are they your own teeth? I was 15. Mike, I know how much you miss your mum too. Terrible about your brother, blind at 30. What was it, Linda? Would you mind saying? And I believe that, QZ, that even though, they've got this dementia, their soul is intact. They are intact. In the hospital, we had a wonderful vicar come round, and I met him a few times. And when I was in myself for surgery, he came to see me. But he came often, and because I was in the hospital from first thing in the morning without till last thing at night, every day. Oh my God, I love being there with him. And I'll show you some pictures. And he looks good, even though he was trapped. He looks good. And I would lie on the bed with him, and nobody dare touch him. Very, very strong. Oh, Mike, thank you. Doesn't bother me. I thought it would. It doesn't. No, nobody escapes grief. Nobody. Hi, Sarah. I'm up and about, Sarah. Oh, Stacey. terrible, cruel disease. Absolutely it is. Yeah, we do, Stacey. Oh, no, Linda, with AIDS. When people were afraid to touch them, I was shocked as a member of my family who, when AIDS occurred, um, she and others would make fun of somebody who had sort of really bad acne and certain problems, and they would call him AIDS, and I just thought that was absolutely fucking disgusting. They probably didn't realise how bad that disease was. All right, Furio, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. A virtual cup of tea. I've got some cold coffee. I like cold coffee. AIDS was a terrible disease. Do you remember Princess Diana? She would go and shake hands with AIDS, people who suffered with AIDS. Bye, Julia. Much, much love to you. No, I won't. Yeah, remember last time, Sarah? A whole darn cup of tea went over it. This coffee, whoops, is that cappuccino stuff. My son made it and he went about an hour ago or longer. Hour and a half ago. So tonight, that is my bed. Because I've got no bed, they've taken it away now, thank goodness. So tonight, what day is it? Friday? Tonight, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be sleeping on that. Monday, I've got the Simba mattress coming. I know they're really good mattresses. And then I've got the bed frame coming next weekend. So the other room is full of Amber's toys. Amber. I keep calling the cat Amber, and it's Harriet. Are you a reincarnation of my dog? QZ, thank you for being here, my darling. Much, much love. A holiday there, Mike. No, but it was scary. But you know what? It wasn't the climbing up on it. It was lying down, and it was just lying on a rock. It was so hard. Anyway, after many emails and phone calls, they agreed to take you back. But of course it's Independence Day, and that's the day I go and get my other teeth out. Oh my gosh. I know, Sarah. I had to have a little table at the side to get down and a stool the other side. It was much too high. Ridiculous. They should have advertised. They should have said in the description, and they should have also said in the description, headboard not included. It was very misleading, and it was a bad bed. It was uncomfortable. It was top of the range. It was reduced from £1,600, and I got it for about £7. You know, so that probably tells me that they just wanted rid. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, it was, and so it's gone now. And as I said, I kept it nice. I kept sheets on it and a cover in case Harriet jumped on or dust got on it, and I kept it clean and nice and tidy. And then he comes to collect it, drags it downstairs, rips all the mattress on the banisters, and drags the divan part down the drive, so rips all the velvet off that, and said to my son, well, they'll just get rid of it anyway. And the driver had something to say about the company, which I won't repeat because I've got to get my deposit back. Yes, the problems began. It was 2 days late. I wasn't meant to have it, Linda. I wasn't meant to. And thank goodness it's gone. So as I say, I've got my Simba mattress coming Monday. I can sleep on that. We can sleep on that Monday night on the floor if we want to. That couch is comfortable anyway. And the other bed's upstairs, so I think one of my kids is coming to stay the weekend. So they've got a bed up there. Very dangerous bed. It was very high. And listen, what's wrong with me? You can see my jaw's dead. My teeth have gone. I've got osteoporosis. I haven't been taking my medication really the last few weeks. I've been taking the painkillers I have, the patches, the morphine patches. But I just don't want the junk in my body anymore. Don't want it. And I've had a letter from the consultant, copy letter, and he's recommended, one of the things he's recommended is turmeric tablets, but he's also recommended epidural to be given every so often. And I asked for that years ago, an epidural to stop this back pain and to stop the pain. When I've said that each hip feels as though I've got a lump of concrete on it, but of course it does. I've had hip replacements, 2 hip replacements. So of course it would feel like that. Why didn't I think? Yeah, it will be good now. This one's asleep on the chair again. She wakes up. When she wakes up, what time is it? 4 o'clock, 4:10. She'll have her dinner about 5:30, and then that's it. She's on the prowl from about 6, 6:30 till about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. She's out the window. She's jumping all over the place. She's a nutcase. Why do they make beds that high? I mean, particularly for me, look at all the height I've lost. I mean, I was shocked. I was just under 5'3". 5'3". Then I went down to 5'1". Then 5 foot and a bit. And it's the osteo, and it's because I can't stand straight, I know. But last time I went and she weighed me and did my height, and I was 4'9". I was absolutely, my son, his mouth just dropped open. Stacey, my mum, had osteoporosis. So out of the family, I think I'm probably the only one who has it. None of the others did. I do. I was just the unlucky one, I guess. So that's what Mum left me. Thanks, Mum. Yeah, that's what the consultants recommended, turmeric. Ginger and black pepper. Oh, I'm going to try that. Tell me how you do it, Demelza. Do you mix it up in like a cocktail? Oh, Linda, yes, she does. Puts a paw in the water. And you know that the fountain I bought her? She's starting to get used to it. It's in the other. She's got water in here, water in the other room, water downstairs, little tray in there. She's taken over. Is it Nova? For most people, I've had it for years. I had osteopenia first. See, I don't drink milk. And I was vegan for over 20 years. when I say vegan, no dairy, no meat, certainly, no dairy at all. I took no supplements. I don't know whether that has had an effect. I don't know. A lot of times I would miss meals. I eat to live. I don't live to eat, and that's why I don't understand the people that do. Vitamin D. Milk doesn't like you. Why milk, Mike? You can get the like the oat milk and stuff like that from Holland and Barrett. Used to go to, need to go to again. Let me tell you about this. Being that I'm opening my heart to you and opening my mouth to you. Let me tell you about this. Do you like my hair? I just chopped it. Many years ago in the 80s, and turmeric tea bags. I've got ginger ones. I'm going to get some. Yeah, I watched a video. I'm going to get it and I'll post it about a woman who tells you what to do if you've got an ulcer. Well, I had an ulcer that almost killed me 6 years ago. I still have an active ulcer, and it's become really active the last couple of days. And she recommends turmeric and ginger and honey, garlic, and make a cocktail, straight into the blender, whiz it all round and make a cocktail of it. I'm going to get some stuff because I've been very lax. That I've lost, as I say, I've lost a lot of weight in the last 10 days or so. I've lost over a stone. I've gone down to just over 7.5 stone, and this is what happened before. And I went down to 5.5 stone because I couldn't eat. Didn't want to eat. It hurt me. Yeah, turmeric. The consultant recommended turmeric in tablet form. Yeah, Stacey, that's probably true. I don't know, is it turmeric's an antibiotic? It certainly does something. I could have I could, Sarah, but I don't like them. I don't want to do what I did before. I don't want to. I had a really good friend who passed away from cancer now, but in Australia, Jenny, and we were really close, and animal rights, and we were involved in all sorts of things. I know somebody, what's her name? That lonesome somebody who did a video on me, a documentary, asked me if I know somebody called Camille. Well, of course I knew Camille. Of course I knew her. I was instrumental in getting her out of jail. But no, I wasn't in Florida with her. I worked hard for her and gave her a lot of money as well. So, Sarah, this woman, I'm going to get the video and I'm going to post it. I'll find her again, and she's great. I think she must be, she has clients, so I think she must be some sort of a healer, medicine woman. And she recommends garlic. I don't know whether you eat the garlic or whether you put that in the blender as well. Garlic, turmeric, ginger, and honey, and lemon, if you can tolerate it. And if you've got an ulcer, as I have now, if it's active as mine is now, because my son was going to get the doctor earlier, I was just in so much pain. And she recommends this drink twice a day. because what caused my ulcer, the first ulcer, I guess this one as well, it's a high pylori bacteria, and it's horrible. It's like a piece of seaweed if you look at the pictures, and that lives, and it causes this problem, duodenal ulcers. I think the last one was. They say it isn't caused by stress, but I'm sure that stress caused that day when I stood up and I felt as though somebody had stuck me with a knife or a blade or a sword. I'm sure that was brought on by stress. Yeah, no, but I think so as well. We've got these doctors. It's funny, isn't it? We used to have medicine women who were accessible in the olden days and doctors who weren't really accessible unless you had a lot of money. But a lot of doctors are quacks, even nowadays. What sort of doctor would recommend a medicine that would do this to a person? Eh? Without telling them. Yeah, in a smoothie drink, yeah. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make some smoothies. Like, my blender has been out of order since I've passed away. I haven't bothered with anything. So let me tell you this, what I was going to tell you. In the 80s, mid-80s, I was working. Social services had decentralised, or was about to decentralise, and I'd been there for 5 years. And I went to work for another social services organisation. Anyway, I was on the train to the centre of Birmingham, and it was the days when we used to get the free newspapers. So I got the free newspaper. They used to leave them on the seats on the train as well. So I picked up a newspaper and I was reading, and I read about this woman who'd been murdered. And her name, Bernadette Toy. It was my sister. The next one up from me, Bernadette. My third name is Bernadette, Anne Winifred Bernadette. But Bernadette, Bernie, she was married, she had 2 children, little kids. And her husband did a friend a favour and let him stay at their place while he was getting himself sorted out. And this one morning he shouted at the children because he was watching something on the telly and they were walking past it or making a noise, and he shouted and he did something. And Bernadette took the kids to school, and when she came back, she told him, "Don't ever shout at my kids again. Pack your bags and go." He didn't. He attacked her, got her behind the couch, attacked her, and he strangled her to death. He went next door to the neighbours and said, "I think I've killed Bernie." So, hi Ginny. "I think I've killed Bernie." Anyway, it was done. She was gone. Terrible funeral. Little kids. They're grown now. One of them has passed away. At the court, I didn't go. I've got this feeling, this sort of, when something happens, it's happened. It's happened. You can't change it. There's nothing that you can do that's going to change what's happened. So don't I mean, I cry for Alf all the time. That's a bit different because he's part of me and I'm him. But going to the court to see what this man had to say, I wasn't interested in what he had to say. I wasn't interested. He killed her. Let the law take its course. And my brothers went, and they said he had a psychiatric illness, that he had a psychotic break. And so he went into, I don't know where he went into some sort of mental asylum, I guess, is that what you call them? And he was there for a few years, and then he was released. And that's how it went. And 2 little kids were left without their mum. It was tragic. I don't know how my mum felt, her eldest. That's right, Linda, you can only change how you react. I don't know how my mum felt because her eldest child, he had cancer. Cancer runs in my family with the boys. Don't know why. And my mum's eldest son died of cancer. She was so close to him, and she's buried with him. And then this happened to Verna, and I can't imagine the pain. Thank you, Stacey. I sometimes think, have I faced a lot, or is it normal? Are these things happened in my family normal? Are things that happen to me normal? I don't know. But I've learned from them. I've learned lessons. Hello, my love. Hello. Am I ignoring you? I'm sorry. I've learned lessons. I've learned to try and have peace, with things around you that you can't control. But where else concerned, it's a very different matter. I can't. But I read about my sister's death in the newspaper, and my other sister, who is now in a nursing home, she's got dementia. She's 86, a lot older than me, 13 years. She'd been trying to contact me. I don't know if she got the wrong number, what was going on. But as I say, I read about it in the newspaper. And I got into work and went to my boss, my lovely boss, and he was talking to another man who happened to be a psychologist. And I just took the paper and I said, I think this is my sister. And they sent me home, talked to me, and took me home, sent me home. All right, Demelza, thank you so much for coming in. God bless. Thanks, Sarah. Yes, it was a horrible way to find out. I couldn't believe it. So that was us. He was sent to a psychiatric hospital. My sister was buried. The kids were left without a mum. And then when one of my brothers died, who was close to her, he died. He was buried in the same plot. She had it the plot was for her and her husband, but they divorced. And anyway, one of our brothers was buried there. Creepy Comfort. Hi, darling. Look. I'll come on to show everybody my smile without any teeth. But do you see, Stacey, do you see, Nova, that this sort of thing that's happening to me and my body now, it's no great thing, you know. I don't want the pain. I could do without that at the moment, but the rest of it doesn't bother me. 2 more teeth are going Tuesday or next week sometime, and then we'll talk about what they're going to do. But they are not going to do what they've suggested, which is you'll know what it is now, but if you look at it, it's called Zeitgeist or something, Zeidgas, something like that. And they put the implants in, but they're implanted into your cheekbones. I'm not going to have that. I'm not going through all that nonsense. I'll just have the best I can have and let them take the teeth out on the NHS and then pay for whatever they decide to stick in my mouth. Creepy, thank you. So I watch your channel. People, please subscribe to Creepy Comfort and Crime. They've got a great channel. So yeah, there's been a lot, and then when I was in my 40s, how did I find out? Oh yeah, my mum and dad weren't married, and my mum had been married and widowed, had an affair with my dad because she was helping out in my grandmother owned 2 big boarding houses in Small Heath, Birmingham. You're welcome, Creepy. Thanks, Nova. Yeah, subscribe to her. She's wonderful. Sarah. Anyway, my grandmother had these 2 big boarding houses, and mostly, you know, Irish, because my grandmother, Tipperary, my mum, Tipperary and Belfast. It was everything Irish. And a lot of Irish people came over, mainly men looking for work. And my dad came over and he lodged in my grandmother's house. My mum met him. Oh my gosh, he was a handsome man. So his mother was Spanish. And so he got this swarthy, beautiful skin. Swarthy is the wrong word. Olive skin, which my daughter's inherited. Beautiful skin. And my mum fell for him. Do you not, my love? I'd love to know more what you think. Oh, did you, Mike? As you want us out and got attention, we don't wear it. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out to the pub. I haven't been for ages. And I'll go and see my friends. And then my friends, and I've got to tell you, I've been told that somebody I know, and I don't know which one it is. I'm thinking of the names of the ladies. So I'm not saying who because I might be wrong. I'm thinking of 2 of them. At the pub, they keep a very tight house there. And there's never any trouble. But apparently, when this lady left to go home, 2 thugs jumped on her. 76-year-old woman jumped on her and beat her and stole from her. And I don't know who it is, so I need to go in to find out. But I do think that, Stacey, some people go through more, and I think we're all here to learn lessons, and we choose our lives. We sort of choose the lessons that we want to learn, and I think I've got to my limits. I don't know everything, and I'm never going to know everything, but I know enough. And I don't give a toss. You know, Foodie and her mates can laugh and laugh at my jaw. Remember that picture she put of me as a Labrador? Go and do another one, Fatso, because I've got some of you that I haven't posted because they're too cruel. So we'll see, won't we? Ducks. Creepy, you're absolutely 100. I was going to say 150%, but I hate people who say that. You're 100% right. Yes. The more you go through, the more you learn. No, yes, but I think it's the more you go through, the more opportunities you have to learn. And there has been a lot. I was raped twice. Once in Saudi Arabia by an American warrant officer. True, Mike, but she does, and she can get on with it, I don't care. Yeah, everybody subscribe to Creepy. She's great. But I was in Saudi Arabia, and I was going dancing. I used to love to go country and western dancing and square dancing. I had the clothes, the dresses, and I loved to square dance. Anyway, I was all dressed, all ready to go, and one of the American fellas who I got friendly with him, and I actually got friendly with his wife who was in America. She used to ring me, and it was just nice to have that and to have somebody there who would, as a protector in a way. Anyway, he came for me, but at the same time, a woman, Karen, came and said, Anne, I'm going to the airbase. There's a do-on at the airbase, the American airbase. I've got nobody to go with. Will you come? And I was in two minds, and I made the wrong decision. I went with her. And this warrant officer said, if you're in trouble, if anything happens, you know where I am. Come across to where we were going to the officers' club. This was the other one called Oasis. He said, if ever you're in trouble, you come over and you stay in my place. Don't leave yourself open to trouble. I was naive, I'll tell you, even though I was in my 30s, late 30s, I was naive. So I went with her, and we went to the officers' club, and there was dancing, and there was a lot of alcohol. I had 2 or 3 Baileys, and a lot of dancing, playing darts, everything. But she wasn't there for that. She was there because there was an army major who she had her eyes on. And for the status, I think. And in fact, he was talking to me. But I didn't like him. And I was married. So she ended up with him. And time was going on. Well, there was a curfew. We had to get back by 11 to our compound. Otherwise, we were in trouble. We had to get a limo back. She intended to stay the night, and I kept saying, come on, let's go. And I wouldn't leave her. Time went on, and I suddenly realised it was 12:30, and I was stuck. The fellow who said, come over to, where he is, who was trustworthy, I didn't want to wander around the American airbase on my own. There was a warrant officer who I'd been dancing with, and he said, come and stay in my place and I will drive you back tomorrow. I worked for Saudi Aramco. Ended up working for a prince, no less. But I went back to his apartment, had a living room, it was nice, and the bedroom. so I could stay in the living room. And I remember he had some music on it. It was K.D. Lang, you know, that woman with a really strong voice. And he said, come and lie on the bed with me. And I said, no, come and lie on the bed with me. And he was drunk. He picked me up in a fireman's lift and he carried me into the bedroom. And I was pushing him away. I was crying. I couldn't get him off me. And he raped me. And then he rolled off me and went to sleep. I wanted to kill him. Instead of that, I went in the shower. And I shabbered, and I shabbered, and I shabbered. The next morning, he drove me back to Saudi Aramco work compound. It was the weekend. And I got to my little apartment, beautiful little apartment, tiny but beautiful, living room, kitchen off, little corridor going down to the bathroom and the bedroom. It was beautiful. Got back to my apartment and I can't remember whether she phoned me or whether I phoned her. Her name was Mary and she was a Canadian lady who worked there with her husband. And on the phone, and I was hysterical and crying. And she came over to me. And I didn't know what to do. And she said, you've got to go to the doctor. You've got to go to the doctor. And I phoned the doctor. And it was the weekend. And he said, you know, it's the weekend. Why are you phoning me? It's private. Wait till I'm back at work. And I told him, I said, I've been raped. And he went to his surgery and Mary took me there. And I was hysterical. I was a basket case. Oh, when he was driving me back to work, and this was in Dhahran, in Saudi, I opened the door and went to jump out. It would have killed me, of course it would. Anyway, we went to see this doctor. He was lovely. He was so kind. And he said, you've got to report him. You've got to tell him. You've got to report him. I didn't. The doctor gave me some halcyon tablets and he said, in the next week you need to go home, get a flight home, check that you aren't pregnant, go home, have a few weeks back home and see your doctor. So I did. I booked a flight home the next week. Had 2 weeks, told Alf what happened. As I say, the doctor prescribed these HALYCON, I think they're called, halcyon tablets. I think they helped, I don't know. When I got back to my place, this girl, Karen, who I'd gone with, Carrie, her name was, Carrie, not Karen, she phoned me and I screamed down the phone to her and I said, you know what you fucking well caused in my life because you wanted to be bedded by that idiot. And I told her what had happened and I screamed at her and I cried. She was the one who reported him. She reported him to the major. I can't remember whether someone contacted me. I don't remember that. I don't. They must have. But he was brought up before whoever it was who does these things, and they said, did you rape that English woman? And he said, no. And I said, what do you mean, no? Did you rape her? And he said, no, I just took advantage of her. Bastard. So this warrant officer, did he get punished? No, he didn't. He was sent home. He was sent away from Saudi Arabia, and he was sent back to the States. I wonder if he ever thinks of what he did. And then there was a second time, but you know what? It was that horrible. I can't even think of it. No, he wasn't punished deeply. He was called up before whoever it was, the panel thingy there. And as I say, they said, did you rape that English woman? He said no. And I asked him again. You know, she's been to the doctor. We've checked with what's going. We know. Now tell us, did you rape that woman? And he just said, no, I took advantage of her. What's the difference? He picked me up in a fireman's lift from the room where I was, over his shoulder, threw me on the bed, threw me, left me with bruises on my body. It was a rape. Of course I do, Linda. The words read the same, yes. Smoky Grandma, thank you so much. What a lovely name you've got. Look, no teeth. I'm really pleased with myself that I can, I promised, didn't I, that when they started work on my jaw, I would share it all with you, and I'm going to share it all with you. I shall share what happens on Tuesday. I shall share what happens when whatever they're going to do, but I'm not going to let them implant into my cheeks. They're not going to do that. I don't want it. Kaylee, it's a dress. It's a dress. Comes down to almost to my ankles. It's very comfortable. You're welcome, Creeper. It's I don't know why I'm saying all these things today. I don't know why. I think I've had so much that's been pent up. Thank you, Sarah. Smoky Grandma and Kaylee. So much that's been pent up for so long, and the past few weeks have been traumatic with that darn bed. That's traumatic. I'm waiting for my money back. So that's gone. That's gone today. So we've had no sleep, have you, baby? Well, she has. And then the business with my teeth. And now the business with my ulcer flaring up. And the High pylori, doubtless, is doing its dirty work in my stomach. So my son wanted to get the doctor, as I say earlier. I said no. I'm going to see how I go today. Do you hear the door? It's only Amazon, I think. Or the postman. I'm going to see how I go today. And I've got family coming at the weekend to stay. There's 2 beds on the top floor. One in the little room and one in the big room. So I'll have people here, and if I need to call the doctor, I will. They won't allow me. No, Kaylee, it isn't plastic surgery, my darling. It's what happened was, because I've got osteoporosis very badly, some years back I was prescribed hyaluronic acid and zoledronic acid in tablet form. I was never told the side effects, what the side effects could be. I was given a leaflet, but nothing was emphasised. Like Furio said, it was disgraceful. My doctor knew I'd had a root canal and everything, because I told him, I've had this problem, I've had a root canal done, I'm filling done, but I still had all my teeth. This was, oh God, well, 6 years ago when I found out what happened with my jaw. So the dental hospital told me that each infusion of the hyaluronic acid stays in your body for 30 years. And I had 4 or 5 of them. So I've really got no chance, have I? And if you've got any problems at all in your mouth, and I just had this root canal and a filling, if you've got any problems in your mouth, it can cause problems with your jaw, cause problems with your bone. It's only a very small percentage of people it happens to. So I guess I'm, one of the elite. And it caused necrosis of the jaw. It's killed my jaw bone. And as a consequence, my teeth loosened and had to come out. So now, what they want to do is implants, and I think they're using me as they want to use me as practice to see how it goes. And because they can't implant into my jaw because it's all dead, just dead jaw. They want to do these implants, but they would be implanted into my cheekbone. I'm not going to have it done. Absolutely not. No, I'm not, Mike. I'm not. Why would I? I'm not putting myself through all that at my age as well. I'm not. I've got no vanity. I'm going to go out like this, and and once the work is finished on my jaw and my teeth, I'm going to get the best teeth I can get. The best. Yeah, but my jaw's dead, so the implants aren't going to be simple. They're not going to be able to do it in my jaw. They're going to have to go right up into my cheekbone. I'm not doing it. Exactly, Linda. And a lot of people are I've read up on it. A lot of people are getting infections from the implants. I don't know how much it is, how much it will be, because I haven't looked into it. I guess it will be costly. But as I say, the teeth are coming out. He wants to take 2. Well, he's got to take 2 out. The one that had the abscess is going like this, like you've got a door open and the wind is blowing it back and forwards. That's that one. And then that one's gone funny. So they've got to come out. And I don't want to take the rest, but I've said take them. Yes, infection is very frightening. Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain, Kayla. I haven't been editing. Not because I can't, but because I don't feel like it. And that's more to do. I'm a mess at the minute. That's to do with my ulcer flaring up. And that's the main thing at the moment. In the last 10 days, I've lost a stone in weight. And last time I had an ulcer was 6 years ago. No. But yeah, about 7 years ago, I don't know. I had an ulcer and it wasn't diagnosed. And I went to the doctors on numerous occasions. They prescribed, I had a table full when the lawyer came out to my house because I sued them. I had a table full of painkillers. It looked like I was a junkie. And that's all I kept doing. And the last months I spent in bed, I knew I was dying. I was dying. And nobody would listen to me about the pain. Nobody would listen. And I knew I was dying. My weight went down to 5.5 stone. Towards the end, I couldn't even sip water. Anyway, my doctor came out on this Friday. I think it was Thursday or Friday, late morning, and he prescribed more painkillers. And I said, I can't stand it, give me an epidural, give me something. I don't know, something's wrong. I'm going to die. And he looked at me as though I was a nutcase. And he prescribed Zomorph, Zomorph. It worked. I took the Zomorph and got on the couch and I fell asleep. First sleep I'd had in ages. When I went to get up, it was just as though somebody had got a sword and stuck it right in my stomach. And I fell to the floor. As it happened, I was trying to dial 999. I couldn't even do that for an ambulance. And I was screaming in pain. And I picked the phone up to go to pick the phone up to phone my son. And it rings. And it was my son. And I was screaming on the phone. He came straight in. He phoned his partner to get the ambulance to Mum straight away. And because as I don't make a fuss, I don't like making a fuss. I've got a high tolerance for pain. I know, Kaylee, that's the problem. No, creepy. I'm probably eating maximum of half a sandwich a day, if that's it. I just can't eat. And it's the ulcer, I know it is. Anyway, I ended up in hospital and I'll never forget him, the man, the doctor, who examined me, the first man. There was two of them. And I was just sitting there and he got a stethoscope and he was pressing on my stomach and he said, "It's dead. Your intestine it's dead." And he called another surgeon over and they said what it was, that I had a ruptured ulcer. I went into immediate surgery. I found my son. I said to take him into surgery. He said, "When?" I said, "Half an hour." And they saved my life. I was in intensive care with a one-to-one nurse for about 3 days before I went onto the ward. And they said I'd be there for 6 weeks. I was there for 3 and came out. But the x-rays I'd had, she says, the good news is it's gone. It's clear. But you still have an active ulcer. It hasn't bothered me much until yesterday and last night. And it's starting up and it's painful and it's exactly the same as it was before. But I can't let it get to the point where it ruptures. I can't do that again. Hi, Giggles. I'm not calling the first bit. Hello, my love. So this one is also playing me up, and as I say, it was bad earlier. I've taken some pregabalin, prescribed pregabalin tablets, and paracetamol. That's all I've taken, and I've got the morphine patches on. But that's only masking the problem. I don't want this junk in my body. I was dying, Linda. Yes. And the last week, before this happened, before I collapsed, I went to my doctor in a taxi 5 times in a week, just over a week. And they still didn't diagnose me. And when I went to the hospital, straight away, you knew what it was. It's hard. No, but it's hard. I mean, look at this. My son made this for me about 2.5 hours ago. And even just a sip. Yeah, that's an idea. Creepy. I think I'm going to look up at my son and see if he can, or my daughter, and see if they can pick me something up. That was the court case, Linda, yes. If described as zoomorph, that was the final assault on my stomach. I had a table full of pills. I had about, over the months, I must have had about 40 visits to the doctor. The one doctor came out, examined me. They were all saying, it's your back, it's osteoporosis, it's your back. And I was saying, no, it isn't my back, it's my stomach. It's here, it's here. And so we went to court. It makes me laugh when these people talk about, I'm going to sue you, load of idiots. We went to court, it took about 3 years. She's asleep right by me, Kaylee, she's here, with her rabbit and her cat. So it took about 3 years to get to court. There was a lot going on, and I had a great lawyer. And the barrister I had, I can't praise him enough. He was fantastic. And he was very measured in how he spoke to the judge and the witnesses. I was on the witness stand for 2.5 days. And there were 2 barristers, one for the doctors, my doctors, and one for the hospital. And they went at me tongue and hammer. I was made to feel as though I was a criminal, that, I didn't describe my symptoms correctly, blah, blah, blah. I jumped up from the witness stand. I think my barrister nearly jumped out of his chair. And I jumped up from the witness stand. I said, let me tell you where this pain was. It was here. It was here. It was here. It didn't stop for months. And all I was prescribed was more and more and more painkillers. Nobody listened. I was dying. My weight went down. At that time, I was 9 stone. It went down to 5.5 stone. Nobody was listening. Anyway, 2.5 days on the stand, 2 days with those 2 bastards. And then the 3rd day, it was my barrister. It was wonderful. And there was a psychiatrist who'd only ever met me. There was a psychiatrist who'd met me and gave evidence for me. And he said, she's suffering badly now from post-traumatic stress. And I was, and I am. And not just because of that, but, I was. And anyway, what was I saying? So I jumped up and I said that, and he was taken aback. And so I went and sat down, and then when my barrister came to sum everything up, and he said, Mrs. Parks, he said, you can understand. He said, I can understand why she sort of was trying to show what was going on. And the judge said, he said, and I'm sure she apologises for. And the judge says, don't apologise for her. He said she was doing her best, to be honest. And that was the judge. Anyway, we didn't know whether we were going to win the case. My psychiatrist said I was suffering from post-traumatic stress. Very intelligent woman, knows what she's talking about. She's suffering badly with post-traumatic stress. They had a psychiatrist. I'd only met her once. She was vile. Vile. To look at her, you could see what she was. She was like a witch from the West. Tall, dyed, jet black hair, makeup, horrible face. And I remember talking to somebody, I said something about chocolate, and I heard her say, thought she was vegan. Prat, you can get vegan chocolate. Anyway, she went on the stand. I can say all this now, but I couldn't talk at the time. I wasn't allowed to. So she went on the stand and she said, Yes, I've met Anne Parks. She only ever met me once for about 15 minutes. I've met Anne Parks, she said, and in my opinion, she's got borderline personality disorder. I couldn't believe what she was saying. She didn't know me. The other one did, because I'd met him on a few occasions. So this is what she's saying. She's got borderline personality disorder. And then she said, well, she was suffering that much from post-traumatic stress that she brought a court case. And then she said, post-traumatic stress. She says she's turning up every day absolutely immaculately dressed. These were her arguments against me. Bitch. So anyway, that was that. And then there was something else, and I can't remember what it was, but somebody else talking about me. And I just got up and that, oh, I know why. Because they brought Alf up and they said, she's suffering also because of what's going on with her husband. And what's Alf got to do with what they did to me? And I jumped up and I walked out the courtroom and sat outside, and my friend Avril came out to make sure I was okay. And my barrister said afterwards, I'm really sorry, Anne. He said, I should have told you, if it gets too much, just go outside. Anyway, at the end of the court case, which lasted about 6 weeks and cost over £500,000. Yeah, Chantal, bring your court cases, prat, about a cat that's now living rather than having a dirt nap as you wanted it to. Anyway, we didn't know whether I would win the court case. And I had to wait. And I remember sitting on the couch downstairs thinking, please let me win this. It's important. I don't care about the money. I don't care if they just give me £5,000 and say, I'm sorry. I don't care. But please let me win, because I know I was right. And I won. They brought it against 3. They brought it against the hospital in total, and against 2 doctors. One of the doctors, the barrister for her, was saying, this is very traumatic for her. She's got cancer. It's got nothing to do with the court case. Nothing to do with it. Sorry she's got cancer. But I'm even sorrier what happened to me, She was still working. She didn't do her job. Kept saying it was my back. Wouldn't listen. Anyway, I won. They brought it against the hospital in total in the West Midlands, against my doctor, one of the doctors. I won against those 2. And they brought it against another doctor, and they shouldn't have, because I never saw her for the duration. It was her practice, but it wasn't her I saw. And the doctor I did see, he was terrified, and he was ringing, his lawyer was ringing my lawyer to say, as he got to go to court, if he'd gone to court, I would have won all 3, but they got the wrong doctor. So I won 2 out of 3, and I was awarded £120,000. Half of that went towards the costs. It's no win, no fee sort of thing. But if you win, they take quite a bit off you. So they took half and left me with about 60, which was great. And, I gave money to the kids and bought things for the house. And it helped me out a lot, because an Alf's funeral came to 11,000. I wanted everything to be perfect, and it was his funeral and his headstone, and it was perfect. So, the money went, really. I've got enough in the bank for my funeral and my teeth, and that's about it. No, not many do. We never get into the medical profession. And my barrister said, it's a very strong. The two of them were going at me, rat bags, and particularly the one bloke. The judge was about to tell him to sit down. He was awful. And at the end of the case, there was a male and a female barrister against me. And at the end of the case, we were all milled around outside, and she came over to shake my hand. I just looked at her. I wouldn't shake her hand. They put me through hell for 2 days on that witness stand. I'd done nothing wrong. The medical profession almost killed me. They kept masking the symptoms and telling me it was my back. It might have done, creepy. It might have done. And I wish I could tell you the name of the barrister, because I know he's on Twitter and everything, but I won't tell his name. But he was absolutely fantastic. Very quietly spoken, very measured, very intelligent. He'd gone to Oxford. I think his father had been a barrister. But the other two, by comparison, they were like rats, and they were going at me and pulling me apart, as their psychiatrist attempted to do. And their psychiatrist afterwards, listen to this, she said to my barrister, I found it very sexually arousing to be on the witness stand. That was their psychiatrist. She found it sexually arousing, she said to my barrister. Actually, he really was an attractive man, so maybe it was him, I don't know. But he said, I can't believe that she said that. Nobody has ever said anything like that to me before. Oh, okay. Sorry, Giggles. I've just read you. Yeah. Absolutely gross. And to say to my barrister, a very attractive man, married and everything, very lovely man. And he made the other two just look what they were. They were horrible pair, particularly the bloke. I mean, the woman came over to shake my hand after, and I wouldn't. Why would I? After what they put me through. It was 2 days of hell. Two and a half days on the witness stand. Everybody else was on there for like half an hour to an hour, maximum. And as I say, the case cost $500,000. A lot of the costs, of course, were claimed from the other side because they lost. And they took 60,000 off me, off the 120 I got. But I didn't really care. As I say, I would have been satisfied with 5,000 as long as I knew I won. And I did win. Hi, Dixie. Yeah, that psychiatrist did need a psychiatrist. I'll tell you what, she was, my barrister said to me about her, he said, they've got their psychiatrist. I said, that woman, who is that woman? Because she kept looking at me, and she made a comment because she heard me say to one of the kids about I could do with a square of chocolate, and I heard her say to one of the medical people who was there, a surgeon who was there on their side, thought she was vegan. You can get vegan chocolate. And it was just so ridiculous. She was very tall, very slim. She was like one of these witches, dyed black hair, makeup. I mean, her makeup, she looked more like a streetwalker than a professional. And she attempted to rip me apart. And after she got off the witness stand, she said, in her opinion, I've got borderline personality disorder. I wouldn't have brought the case if I was suffering from PTSD. I wouldn't be there every day looking immaculate if I'd got PTSD. My barrister said to her when she was on the witness stand, Anybody, if they go somewhere like this, professional, a court, you know, all of us, we all dress nicely, don't we? We wear suits, ties. The women dress appropriately. They don't come in, you know, in a skimpy top and shorts. It's that Anne Parks comes in dressed appropriately. I don't know why you're saying what you're saying. She was nitpicking everything. Anyway, when she got off the witness stand, and when my barrister was summing up, and he mentioned her, and I think, do you know, I can't remember, but I can't remember whether he told the judge what she'd said to him. I think he did. And I find it very sexually arousing to be on the witness stand. And the judge said, "Don't worry, I've got the measure of her." Oh, they tried to break me, Linda. They tried to break me. Two of them, the barristers, and then the witnesses. We had a witness come on screen, and he was captain, surgeon. He was a military man who I'd seen once. He didn't diagnose an ulcer, but he did say that I've got to have certain tests. Well, I got his secretary's telephone number, and I was in that much pain. I was ringing constantly. Please get me in for these tests, please. You know, I think I'm dying. Please get me in. They didn't. My barrister, he didn't really make much of that, and he should. But he came on the screen, this captain surgeon or whatever he was, and the judge was very impressed with him. He'd only seen me once, and he didn't follow up. So he had that. And then there was another surgeon on their side, Sir Michael, I can't remember his last name, and I probably shouldn't say it anyway. But Sir Michael, somebody, you know, a surgeon, Sir Michael. And he was giving evidence for them. It's very difficult to identify Hy. pylori, which was what I had in my, you know, what caused my ulcer to burst. Hy. pylori. If you look it up, because I did at the time, it just looks like a little piece of seaweed. You wouldn't think it would cause so many problems. So he was saying how difficult it was to identify, and that in his opinion, the doctors did all they could, blah, blah, blah. And I just thought, you're a sir, but, you know, go and bury yourself somewhere because you're talking shit. And, of course, I couldn't say anything like that. And I couldn't say anything. I could only say sort of things when I was on the witness stand, and believe me, I did. I was polite. The only time I sort of lost it a bit, that my barrister said, was when I jumped up and I kept saying about where was the pain. It was your back. I said it was here, 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 and here. Radiating to my back, of course, but my stomach. And I know it's here again. I've got the same thing again because I've got one ulcer left and it's playing me up, and I think it's all the stress. Lovely Dixie. I respected the system, Linda, but the system didn't really respect me. And it's hard. And that's why, you know, it took years to get to court. I got these big A4 folders, about 6 of them, with all the notes in of witness statements. When I got on the stand, I had one in front of me with my statements in it, doctor's statements in it. And the barristers, their barristers, kept referring to something, and I didn't know this was going to happen. They kept referring to things in this big, thick, bloody folder, and I had to keep going to the page to see what it was that was said. and then capitalise on that and say what I thought was correct. And I said, look, you're talking in medical terms to me. I am not a medical person. I'm a lay person. I don't know. All I can tell you is what my symptoms were. And all I can tell you is I had about 40 visits to the doctor. And all I can tell you is that last week I had 5 visits to the doctor until the doctor came out, prescribed Zomorph, and that almost finished me off. As I say, like a sword in my stomach, and I fell. So I won the case. Hi, Cece. But when people like Chantal and others, Nada, El, No Shamey, they talk about litigation and bringing court cases. Try it. Try it. You're laughable. Absolutely laughable. It takes a lot of meetings. It takes a lot of work. It takes years to get it to court, 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. And then there's 6 weeks in the court. You're on the witness stand. You're pulled apart, every part of your life, even your marriage and your children, your family life, anything. My husband being ill, which had nothing to do with the case. I had a duodenal ulcer caused by H. pylori. It wasn't recognised. I suffered for months. They should have picked it up. They should have said, they should very easily to detect have said before an endoscopy. I'd had an endoscopy about, many years prior to that. And they said I needed another one, but they never sent me for it. It would have been identified by an endoscopy. They did not do it. Oh, are you, creepy comfort? You're a law student, Blimey, that's something. She's got no idea what it takes. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. You've got to be very, very, very strong. And what drove me was anger. Anger at what they did. Anger at what they almost caused. Anger that my husband would have been left alone without me. Anger. And that's what drove me. Good for you, creepy comfort. Good for you, my darling. I hope you're finding it really interesting. What do you want to do? I've learned a lot. Well, I've learned something about the law. I've learned there's such a thing called, you'll know this, creepy, eggshell skull. Which means, say you've got, say you've got an ulcer, right? And it's not really causing you any problems and it's under control and everything. But somebody comes and boots you in the stomach and it bursts. You can go to court, you can take that person to court. It takes a lot. You'll get there in about 3 years, maybe. And then you've got all this pulling you apart. But the fact is, his defence will say, well, they had an ulcer. The ulcer burst. That's all there is to it. No, it isn't. The fact is that what happened, that one incident, regardless, that one incident happened. And they call it eggshell skull. If there's an existing condition and somebody exacerbates that condition, it's called eggshell skull. And you can sue them. Oh, creepy comfort, that would be brilliant. Have you heard of that, creepy? Yeah, I read up on it, round about the time. Read up on a lot about the law. I don't know whether I was childish when, as I say, they were milling outside, and their female lawyer, barrister, came up to shake my hand, and I just looked at her, and she turned away. I wouldn't shake her hand. They pulled me apart. Well, they tried their best. Borderline personality. So tell me, my doctor, one who prescribed the Zomor, is still working. I call him Dr. Zomor. He's a nice man, but he's not that great at his job, I don't think. But he's still there. And now, because of what happens, he will listen to me. And if I have to get him out the weekend, or somebody out the weekend, because I'm only sitting here talking because I've got my morphine patches, I've taken pregabalin and I've taken paracetamol. But if I have to get him out the weekend because of this, he's going to listen. Any of that surgery, they're going to listen. Because they know that if it happens to me again, and if I don't come through it, my kids will sue them. That's right, creepy. Oh my God, it was awful. And there was two of them going at me. It was disgraceful. And when I sort of went back to sit down, I was on the witness stand for 2 days. And I was on the witness stand, let me tell you, from about 9 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock in the afternoon with a lunch break. And that was for 2 days. And then on the third day, just half a day. And that was okay because it was my barrister, you know, who led me and helped me say things succinctly without sort of going into a tease. I think I did quite well, actually. But they did try to tear me down very, very badly, particularly the man. He, I know my lawyer said, she's from one of the big law firms in Birmingham. When I sat down with them, she said, he, can't remember his name, he would never be retained by our company. He's going to be blacklisted. And but when I went back to sit down, my son was there, his partner was there, my friend April was there, my friend Anne was there. And when I went back to sit down, and it was my son's partner, I said, the man in front, who was one of the surgeons who was talking for me, he said, you should have heard him and his mum. He said, when that man was going at you, he said, I could kill him. I could kill him. He was absolutely vicious. And it wasn't warranted. The judge didn't like it. My barrister didn't like it. My lawyer didn't like it. The rest of the witnesses didn't like it. He was vile. Absolutely vile. Worse than a woman. But that was 2 of them over 2 days. Making me feel like a criminal because the medical profession almost killed me. So, no, none of these lots saying that they're going to get a court are going to actually do. They're not going to do that. I don't even look to see what Nada's doing anymore. You know, I look occasionally at Chantal and do these videos, and I've got a friend, Catherine, who sends me pictures and articles sometimes, and sometimes I use them. But really, think of this. Look at food. Can you hear this coming up my throat? It's that ulcer. It's vile. It's making me like burping sounds. It's making me not want to eat, not want to drink much. I'm forcing myself. That cup of coffee has been there now for about 3 hours or more. Oh my God, creepy! It is. It is re-traumatizing. And when somebody was saying and talking about my husband, I just got up. I wasn't on the witness stand at the time. I was, I'd done that bit, and I was sitting there, and they were bringing my husband into it, and I couldn't listen to it because it was so wrong. And I went out. I walked out, and I went outside. My barrister told me afterwards. He said that you did the right thing. I should have told you if it gets too much to just walk out. And as I was going out, I heard my own psychiatrist say, "This is not doing her any good at all." Yeah, CC, I am on medication for osteoporosis. The loss of teeth was caused through the medication hyaluronic acid, which has killed my jaw and made my teeth loose, and I had to have them out. Got to have 2 more out. Might have them all out. I'll show you next week. But I'm on morphine patches, just sort of morphine patches anyway. They're like fentanyl. I'm on 2 of those, 70 milligram, and they're going gradually, slow release into my body. So 140 milligram. And also I've got Oromorph, which I haven't taken for weeks. We'll take some today though. I've got Oromorph, and I've got pregabalin, which I've had to take, and just paracetamol. And I'm on now PPI medication for the acid, because the acid causes a lot of problems as well. But as for the ulcer, it's just started up again the last couple of days, and it's the same as it was before. Creepy, can I make you a mod? Done it. Creepy, you're a mod. You're so supportive. Thank you, Creepy. Catching my throat. I've also got, I'm a wreck. I've also got precancerous cells in my throat. And you can hear sometimes my voice. I know my teeth, but you can hear sometimes my voice. It's really changed. It's gone very crackly and everything. And that's through these precancerous cells. What they do and what they need to do, what I've needed doing for a long time now, and I need it done, not only for my throat, but for this ulcer. I need another endoscopy. So I'm going to have to get to the doctor after the weekend. Oh, creepy, thank you. Do you like my smile? It's liberating, not to pretend, not to hide away because of what's happened, to tell the story of why it happened. It's liberating. Thanks, creepy. Yeah, everybody go to Creepy's channel because it's great. It really is. And to Michael Ujibar, I'll put a video of his on later. So Tuesday, a couple of extractions, at least one anyway, because it's going like this all the time. That's the one that had the abscess. And this one needs to go. And then we'll decide. I don't know. My mum had dentures when she was 70 odd, and she hated them. An Alf's mum had dentures, and she, come on, she was a lovely woman as well. She was. Never met anybody like her in my life ever. And she wore dentures. You know, it was very common, but I think they were like the clumpy, horrible ones. I'm not having that. I just want, and I'm not going to be persuaded to have the implants. They are not drilling into my cheekbone. As Linda said, think of if you get an infection, it's going to be absolutely bloody awful. So I'm just going to have, I don't know, I haven't looked it up properly, but I've read that porcelain teeth, or what's the other one? Not zirconia, porcelain, and another one. But I've put, as I say, the extractions will come out on the National Health. Paid enough into it over the years. Won't have to pay for that, you know, that'll be paid for. And it isn't free. Everybody pays insurance, unlike some people. So the extractions will be free, but I'm not going to have NHS teeth, I don't think. So I've put £5,000 away for whatever it is they're going to do, but they're not going to drill into my cheekbones. There's no way I'm going through that nonsense. Thanks, CC. Do you know what? Going through this, it's like I listened to the Michael person whose video we'll put on later, and he says what I believe in, that, you know, as before we come to earth, you know, we are spirit, we are soul. We choose a life that we want. We choose a life that is going to give us lessons to learn. And we make a soul contract. In fact, he's got a video called Soul Contract. And you make a soul contract that you're going to do your best and you're going to learn. And the things that have happened to me and the things that I've done wrong in my life, I tell you, I would shock you. I would shock you badly. And the things that I've done in my life, I've learned from. And that's what we're here for. We're here to learn and take it back to wherever we go. I've learned. And then we've got people who are here, souls who are here. I can't say it's about my mum. My mum suffered badly. Brought a lot of kids up. She had 10 kids. Mainly brought them up alone because she was a widow, and then didn't marry my dad, and then she married my younger brothers. Oh, I must ring him this afternoon. My younger brother's father, who used to like to beat me up. I remember him used to come in drunk, and we had this beautiful house. There's a video of it somewhere in Park Road, opposite the park. And that's where we lived. So we had a front room downstairs, a middle room, and then what Mum would call the kitchen, where we all sat and ate our meals, and then the scullery, where she would prepare the meals. Yes, creepy, I believe that, darling. I do too. I have to. He used to come in, and I remember this one night, and I was sitting. Mum had the old-fashioned grates that they used to black. I was sitting, it was winter, and I remember it had been snowing, and I was sitting on a chair right by the fire, and he came in drunk, and he kicked me off the chair, he kicked me onto the floor, and I said something to him. I can't remember what I said. I was only a little girl, and I said something to him, "You're drunk or something. It will leave me alone." Oh, big mistake there. He jumped on me, battered the hell out of me. I was probably about 9 or 10. And my younger brother, who's 7 years younger than me, I remember him now, sometimes he'll say, "My dad really, he beat you up, didn't he?" It's got nothing to do with my brother. Nothing to do with him. I love him to bits. His father is not him. But he used to beat me up. The police were always there. And I ended up in care. Alf sort of saved my life when I was 15. He did. Because I'd gone back from care. I'd gone back to live with my mum. Nothing had changed. I mean, she'd separated from my stepdad, so that had changed. But he was always there. He was loathsome. And I remember I was sitting on the sofa, and as I say, I was 15, and he put his hand on my knee and ran his hand up my leg and said, "You're turning into a bonny girl. My God, my God, my God." It made me feel dirty. Anyway, he went back to Ireland. He was from County Louth, and he eventually went back to Ireland. I think he died. I don't know, creepy. How could I do that? I don't know. I mean, that's why I'm doing this stream today. That's why I've come on today. I mean, at the beginning, I was crying a lot and telling the story about Alf, but I just want to. Everything seems to be running out of me. All these words coming out. And I think it's because I've pent up so much for so long. Hello, Pamela. So I don't know how I would do that, creepy. I'll talk to people, certainly. And I'll come on here, definitely. And I'll show my teeth and knuckle and my jaw, which is dead, dead jaw. And then I'll show you next week, after Tuesday, which is going to be that tooth gone and the one round there gone, I think. I don't know what else he's going to do, but we're going to have a talk about what they're going to do, whether it's going to be implants, whether they implant into my cheekbone. I've decided absolutely not. I'm not doing that. And it's not the cost that's putting me off. I don't want it. And as Linda said, think of the infection. If you get an infection and it's all in your cheekbone, think of what you call the pain that you're causing to yourself all through Vanity. I'm not doing it. Lovely Pamela. That's not Pamela, my niece, is it? No, it can't be. I wish she'd come on. Do you know, I've lost so many people who are dear to me. Alf. That's irreplaceable. That's something that's, it's covered me in blackness. It's enveloped me. Alf, and then his sister. That happened when his sister died a few years ago, about 4 years ago. He had 4 sisters. She was the third. And when she died, my son arranged the funeral and everything and the headstone for her, because she, Alf would have done it had he been able to. So my son did it. did a good job. And then Al's other sister, his younger sister, who's just 18 months older than me. Yeah, she was 18 months older than me. I was close to her. I loved her so much. And Jean. And she seemed okay when she came to Al's funeral, but she was suffering, you know. Apparently she would use a wheelchair. I didn't know that. A lot I didn't know because she lived quite a way away from me, so we kept in touch, but didn't see her that much. And she had a fall, and all of her face was all cut. I think it was the glasses she wore. Anyway, she had 12 stitches in her face, and they didn't detect anything else. And then I think it was months. Forgive me, the rain, if you watch, and I've got this wrong, but I think it was months later that beautiful Jean had a fall, and it was a heart. It ran in the family. Al's dad had a bad heart, and well, Alf doesn't, but his one sister had a double bypass. We think that's what happened with Jean. So she fell. Her daughter found her. They brought her back. The paramedics from the brink. They brought her back long enough to say her goodbyes. So on that night, late, my son came and his partner and came into my bedroom and just looked at me. No, I could see he was swelling up, and he said, I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "Auntie Jean." So Jean, she passed away the day after my birthday, 1st of October. I think it was a heart. But as I say, she was 18 months older than me. And sometimes I go to pick the phone up, you know. So much loss. And I can't believe, I think, where have these people gone? Whether they're buried or whether they're cremated, it's their bodies that have gone. But where have they gone? Where are they? Where's their consciousness? Where's their soul? I've got this book. Oh, it's coming around the wrong way. It's called Proof of Heaven. And it's by Dr. Eben Alexander. And he's a famous neurosurgeon who only believed total science until he had an illness that brought him to the brink of death. It says here his unwavering belief in evidence-based medicine fueled a career in some of the top institutions in the world, but all this was set to change. In 2008, he fell into a coma after suffering a rare form of bacterial meningitis. That's terrible. Al's one sister had meningitis as a child. Scans of his brain revealed massive damage. He was not expected to survive. As his family prepared themselves for the worst, something miraculous happened. Dr. Alexander's brain went from near total inactivity to awakening. He woke a changed man, certain of the infinite reach of the soul, certain of a life beyond death. It says here it's an astonishing book. So I got it off Amazon, Proof of Heaven, because one of the people in the videos I watch recommended it, and I haven't started it yet. It won't take me long to read it. So, he's sort of put his career on the line, hasn't he? People who only believe in science, and they say that once you die, there's nothing. I think they're very close-minded. I think they've got closed minds, and it's very sad. How can they believe that this This is all there is. Hi, Ichiku. And another thing, I don't know whether any of you will believe me. Yes, it's like a suit that we wear, creepy. And when we die, we step out of that suit. And then that suit is either buried or cremated. That's it. And then if we haven't learnt all the lessons, if we aren't a master, like Wayne Dyer was, and we still have a lot of lessons to learn, we come back. Yes, it's Chico, and I'm having really, really vivid dreams. I'm not sleeping very much, but when I do really vivid dreams, I'm keeping the cat awake, just asleep at the moment. She's looking at me. She looks at me because I smile at her. And I think, oh God, she can see I've got no teeth. But we're far more than our body, far more. So yeah, I was raped twice, as I told you the first time, and then there was another time when I was doing a course, a college course in oh God, Leek, Loughborough. I was doing a course in Loughborough, and you know, like there's a parties and stuff. You're there as a, you know what it's like, creepy when you're an old student. I was it was only 6 months. You know, I was home every weekend without. But we went to this party one night, and people were sleeping over, and we either had sleeping bags or wrapped ourselves in blankets. And I remember this thing called Ivan, Ivan, coming over to me. What was it about me that attracted these prats? And he came over to me and he attempted to rape me. Because it had happened to me before, because I had learnt some lessons, oh no, he was not going to do that. I smashed that place up. I tore at his face. I threw chairs around the room. I smashed the television on the floor. I was asked to leave. But he didn't rape me. And I went to the police. I went to the police and reported him. He'd only just come out of jail for he assaulted his girlfriend. I went to the police and, you know, said what had happened, and they said, are you ready to bring charges? And I said, yes. Trouble was, the police, for some reason, were very reluctant because he'd only just come out of prison. He's got a lot of friends, blah, 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 blah. And the fact is, Anne, you will be attacked before you can even give evidence. He has a lot of friends in Loughborough. It's not going to happen unless, you know, you go into witness protection or something, and, you know, this isn't really the sort of case where we would do that sort of thing. So I didn't bring charges against him. But I did leave Loughborough. So he was well known for attacking women. He used to drink in a pub in Loughborough called the Boar, Boar. Very appropriate. Have I been through a lot? Do you think I have? Being in care was no fun either. I remember all the kids, when you go into care, you go in and you have an assessment. They do your IQ test. They ask you all sorts of questions. And I remember this one woman, and of course it wasn't personal because it was based, this is what she would say to everybody, every girl. And I think I was 13. And she said, "Have you ever slept with a boy?" I was absolutely shocked and offended. And, you know, I thought, do I look as though I'm the sort of person who's done that? Of course, don't forget they had a lot of different people. The care home in Birmingham was called Shenley Fields, Shenley Fields. It had 12 houses with so many children in, about, I don't know, 12, 14 in each house. So there's 12 houses, and then there was a sick bay. When I first went in, I can tell you the names now because they're probably dead. It's a long time ago. You know, 60 years ago. They're going to be long gone. So I stopped going to school. Thanks, Creepy Comfort. When I went to school, I was very clever. I was top in English. I was top in maths. I was top in French. I was top in geography. I was useless at needlework. I was useless at domestic science. And one of the main reasons, or the main reason why, is that my mother would not pay for whatever it was we were supposed to be making in needlework. A skirt, in my case, that I buried down a drain. Size 24 waist. And I buried it down a drain. I hope it caused them problems. My mother wouldn't pay for anything. And so the teacher would have me out in front of the classroom. And my name was Anne McGuinness at that time. Although my dad's name was Kinsella, I took the name of the man my mum had been married to. So I was Anne McGuinness. And the teacher would call me out to the front of the class and say, "McGuinness, what are you playing at? You know, where's your money? Where's your money for this skirt? You know, you need to do, we're doing this next time. Ask your parents." And I was just pulled out in front of the class, same as in domestic science. A lot of my washing, my underwear, my clothes, I had to do myself. You know, at 13, I had to wash things. Probably didn't do them very well, washing by hand. And I remember one day going to the school, to domestic science, and I don't think I'd washed my apron from the last time, and she could see it wasn't pristine. And, oh my God, she called me out for that. But she used to call me out because I used to go and tell her, "I've forgotten to bring the ingredients. I've forgotten." I hadn't forgotten. My mother would not give me the money. But I couldn't say that, could I? And those were the only two things. Nobody put two and two together. They were the only two things that I fell down on for fucking money. So I wouldn't go to school. The school board man, some of you will know this, your school board man used to come round. I remember looking out the window and watching him come through Sparkhill Park to our house and hiding upstairs. And the one day he talked to me, and he wasn't as bad as he looked, and he said, "Anne, will you go back to school? And I said, no. They'd humiliated me so much. And a friend, Eileen Timoney, I wonder where she is now. Nice girl. The headmaster, Mr. Bishop, long dead, Mr. Bishop and Miss Lynch, Archbishop Ilsley School in Acox Green, where I live. Eileen Timoney was sent by the headmaster to please Anne come back to school. We didn't know what was happening at home. And don't forget, I was going through the beatings of my stepfather at the same time as this. So I couldn't go back because they humiliated me. I thought people would laugh at me. How could I go back? Because my mother still wouldn't give me the money for those things. So it went to court. That was my first time in court. That was my first time on a witness stand at 13. And I was asked again, will you go back to school? And I said, no, I wouldn't go. And my mum was there and my brother, Joey, beautiful Joey, long past, beautiful, beautiful man, soul. My mum and Joey. And my mum had brought a friend of mine to come to try and persuade me, go back to school. No, I'm going. So they sent me to Shenley Fields Children's Home. And it was okay. They had a reception house called The Trees. And it was Mr. and Mrs. Bowes, Bowes, long, long dead. And I didn't really realise it was only a reception. You know, you go there, get you accustomed to being there, and then you put in one of the other 11 houses. There were 12 houses, as I said. So I was in The Trees for a few weeks, becoming accustomed, and they were lovely. They were so nice. Went back to court almost at the end of that trial period. Went back to court and was asked again, will you go back to school? And I said, no. Okay, Pam, God bless my darling. And I said, no, I wouldn't. So that was it. I went back to The Trees and they decided which house they were going to put me in. And it was a house, ironically, called Maryland, Merriland. And the woman was hateful, absolutely hateful. We were supposed to call her Mom. She was very glamorous. She was cruel. Cruel, cruel woman. Her husband was okay. He was, and he used to drive an ambulance. He was a paramedic at that time. She was cruel. There was a little boy, one of brother and sister who were there, and he always wet the bed. Hi, Nova. Used to wet the bed. And she used to show him up blind. Oh, in front of the whole house. He was only a little tot. And she used to make him wash the sheets in the bath. Of course, they were washed properly afterwards. But she just wanted to shame him. She accused me of stealing sweets because I'd gone to the laboratory, come back out, and one of the women who was supposed to look after us, the Snoop, this one was, went in and found, in one of the toilets, found sweet wrappers. So she said, have you been to the toilet? You've been to the laboratory? I said, yes. You've stolen sweets out of the jar. Didn't eat sweets. You've stolen sweets? I said, no, I haven't. And I remember we were all sat round the table, about 8 kids. House mother at the top of the table. Anyway, one of the boys owned up to it. Robert, his name was, and he said it was me. I took sweets, and it was me. So he owned up to it. And I remember the house mother saying to me, "Aren't you angry at him?" What he did, "Aren't you angry at him?" And I said, "No, angry at you." I ran away. I was on the run for weeks. It was on the news. It was in the newspapers. I slept in sheds. I slept at one of my brothers until they got frightened of being in trouble. I eventually, one night, it was so cold, and I went to my sister's, the one who's in the nursing home now. I went to my sister's house, and she'd got two children at the time. And I got in their shed and stayed in their shed until they got up in the morning, early, about 7, and then I went and knocked the door. So I went in, I was filthy dirty, been on the run for that long, filthy dirty, thirsty, hungry. And I don't know what I thought they would do. I don't know. Don't think I was thinking at that time. I didn't think they'd phone the police, but they did. They gave me something to eat, of course, and helped me clean up. But they, for my benefit, they wanted to do the best. They phoned the police. Police came with the house mother or nurse, whatever you call her, from the sick bay at Shenley Fields. She came with the police, and they put me in a police car and drove me back. And I was sent back to that house with that house mother. She had opened my diary that I used to keep, and I'd written about her. I'd written about how cruel she is. I'd written about it. And she read that, and she said something to me. And I said, "You are cruel. You're the reason I left." Do you know, she was nice to me after that. I complained to my social worker, elderly. She was like in her 50s, maybe, coming up to 60, older woman. And she was my social worker, and she was so settled and comfortable and non-confrontational about anything, and she wouldn't pick up on things. And she said, "I read your diary too." I said, "Well, yeah, can I have it back?" They wouldn't give me back. I don't know what they did with it. I wanted it. It was hard now. And so she said, "I read your diary." I said, "Yeah, it's true. I want it back. Give me my diary back." Personal. It was a locked diary. So they clearly broke the lock, ruined it. And she said, "How do you feel about being back in this house with Mrs. So-and-so?" I said, "Don't like it, don't like her. I'd like to go to the house next door, if possible." I knew the house mother there. She was a kind woman, and the kids were nice. There was a girl called Jenny Bowler, older than me, about 10 years. I wonder where she is, if she's around. She was so tomboyish. She used to frighten the life out of us. But I wanted to go into that house. I wanted to be there with them and not be with this woman who was cruel. As I say, he was all right, she wasn't. And I remember her saying to me as well, when you go in, as I said, they give you a psychological assessment. Have you slept with boys? The one question which I told you. You're given an IQ test. My IQ was 149, way up. 149. And I don't even know how I got that because I'd never done an IQ test before. I didn't know east from west. I knew north and south. I didn't know east and west. And the way I did it, the way I guessed, I wrote west in my mind across the middle. And I thought, well, west has to be where the W is, and east has to be that way. And that's how my mind was thinking. And I did these stupid tests to see if my brain was functioning. And it was 149. Do you know it's the same as Einstein's when he had his intellect tested? He probably rose above that, but he did have an IQ of 149. Anyway, I remember sitting at the dinner table and this cruel woman, and I can't remember what, something was said, and I answered back. And she said to me, "You've always got an answer for everything. It must be that 149 IQ of yours." It was hard. Eventually I was allowed to go home every third weekend to be with my mum and my brother. She'd separated from my stepdad by then, so the beatings were no longer. School wasn't a problem because I was in care and everything was provided. So I used to go home every third weekend, and my mum had moved from Park Road. Oh my God, I was so upset, and she'd moved. They were selling the houses off because it was rented, and she'd moved to this little house, and I hated it, loathed it. It wasn't that small, but it was smaller. But the reason I hated it was because it was haunted. And when I stayed there, I used to sleep. You got the bedrooms. Front big bedroom, my mum. Next bedroom, across the... Can you hear this coming up? I'm ever so sorry about this. Across the landing, you got another bedroom, my two brothers. And then at the back, a little room where I used to sleep when I went there. And a very, very old house. And the one night, I could hear water running. I could hear footsteps. I could hear footsteps coming right to the side of my bed, right there, and stopping. And I got under the covers, it scared me. And I know it was factual. I wasn't imagining it. And when that time, when it had stopped, I got out of the covers and I ran. And I ran and got into my mother's bed. I've never done that before, ever. And the next morning, my brother said they'd got a built-in wardrobe there, which they kept the doors locked. And the next morning, those doors were unlocked. Somebody had turned the key, they were open, wide open. Anyway, my mum was talking to the next door neighbour. I never went back there again for a weekend, ever. My mum was talking to the next door neighbour, who told her that the room that I was in, apparently, the woman of the house had actually fallen, and she dropped dead there in that room. So right by the side of my bed, she'd fallen and died. And the man, her husband, died a few years later in the same house in a similar way. And she said, that's what's happening. And she said to me, what you must do, if it happens, don't be scared, just shout out, what do you want? But I never went back there again. So I was in care, and the first week I went to a school called Ilmington Girls' School. It was separate from the boys. And the very first week they were having tests on work they'd done during the course of the year. And the teacher said to me, you can sit out if you want to, you haven't got to do it. But I didn't want to sit out, and I did it. And I came second. And the teacher said, look, she hasn't done any work here at all. And she'd come second. And after that, I stopped trying. I proved a point. I proved my points. And then I stopped trying. And I didn't care. And then when I was 15, that was when you could go to work. And so we got our cards that you had to get for work in Surrey Oak in Birmingham, and looked for jobs. And we were sent for jobs by the school. I went to a place called Bakelite. Where was the other one? I can't remember the other one. Anyway, I didn't get the jobs. Don't know why. Probably my mouth again. But I left Lightning just, and went home to be with my mum. That was on the Thursday. My sister said, oh, I can get a job for you where I work. It's a place called Claxon. I think it's still there in Tyseley. I can get you a job in the factory, because she worked in the factory. So why don't you go and speak to them? I didn't go to speak to them. And I spoke to a lovely, lovely man, and he said, a girl like you doesn't need to be in a factory. No. You come here as an office junior. We will teach you the ropes. We will teach you everything. And I think that was on the Thursday I went for the interview. He said, when can you start? And I said, now. And I started straight away. No, creepy, I haven't been a strong person. Not all the time. No. And now I'm very vulnerable. Look how I'm talking to you all. I've never spoken like this before. Ever. I've told you things that only Alf knew, really. I've told you that, like I've told my son, I just want to be with him. I do. But I can't rush that. It's not my place. It's not my place to make myself ill. It's not my place now to leave this ulcer so it will rupture like the other one did. And I know it will, because I can feel it. Not my place. My baby, Lynn, is right here with her cat. She's having a good old stretch, and her white rabbit. Lux Rain. She is, look, she's beautiful cat, really is. Thank you, Sarah. Are you? You're struggling? But if I'm inspirational, I don't know why I'm inspirational, because I'm not strong at the moment. I'm not strong. I'm not at the moment. I'm weak. And I'm lost. And I'm talking and I'm crying. And I'm crying all the time. And the cat comes over to me when I'm crying. It's ever so funny. Thank you, Creepy. Stephen, how are you, my love? How are you? I wonder why. I'm not talking about me now. But, you see countries where children are dying, they haven't got clean water even. Do you know the amount of money that the royal family have? They could wipe out world poverty with what they've got. Yeah, no teeth, no bra, and I've cut all my hair off again. And then Tuesday, there'll be even less teeth. That one definitely is driving me nuts. So he'll take that one out. I know he will. If he doesn't, I will. I'll get a piece of string, put it on the door and give it a tug because it'll come out. I'll do that. And this one I can't because it's stuck in rigid, but it's broken. That needs to come out. And as I say, I'll post a picture of me with my teeth, normal. When I had all my teeth, beautiful big smile. Everybody used to say, as I said, Alfie's older sister, the first time she met me, she said, "Are they your own teeth?" And I thought, I'm 15. Oh, Stephen, you're so lovely. Look, you make me laugh. Sitting here without your teeth and no bra. Yeah, but I'm not like Foodie, am I? You know, I mean, she pranced around in the altogether. Stephen's gorgeous. But if Sarah, I'm inspirational to you, I'm glad. And I think if I'm inspirational, it's simply because I'm being open about the struggles I've had and the struggles I'm having. And the fact that I want to learn these lessons, all of them, that I'm supposed to learn. No, that's true, look, I won't. But, you know, it's something that can't be. My teeth went because of the medication they gave me, the bloody poison they put into my body. And they didn't tell me what it would do. It was supposed to help the osteoporosis. Here I am. Hasn't helped. All it's done is kill my jawbone. And I appreciate your blessings, Stephen. You think I have a purpose, Creepy? I'd like to think so. I'd like to think so. You know, when I started my channel, I've got another channel, which I just put pictures of Alf. It's our channel. Oh my gosh, look, I am so sorry. You see, this is what I had that much medication. The lawyers, you know, when I brought a case against them, the lawyers were shocked. It was enough to kill half a dozen horses if I'd taken them. All I'm using is the morphine patches and paracetamol and pregabalin. That's all. And I've got to, and the PPIs for the ulcer because it's acting up and it's coming up into my throat. And I'm really sorry if you can hear it from time to time. I'm so sorry about your dad. You know, they took Alp off the ventilator. He could have stayed for a bit longer, 6 months, a year. He could have stayed. When my son ran Kingfisher nursing home, who neglected him while I couldn't be there because of the COVID, you got a lot to answer for, a lot. But when they sent him from there, because he was non-responsive, the ambulance is 1-to-1, right? It's supposed to have 1-to-1 person, 24/7. He didn't. The night one didn't turn up. The day one didn't turn up until late, until about 11 in the morning. And she found out non-responsive. As I say, he was dehydrated. He was malnourished. He was thin. He was messy, not badly, but but not like Alf, and his nails weren't clean. And the Undertaker did all that, and let me help dress him. What an honour that was, really, to help dress my husband. Really looks, oh, thank you. Prayers to me, thank you. And to you, Cheeky Chops. Yes, creepy. You know what I think about that? I'm sad that 5 people lost their lives. They paid, well, how much was it? £250,000 each to go down on that Titan. They were mad. And my opinion is we've got enough information. There's a video that shows the Titanic, how it was in 3D. We don't need to be going down and disturbing a graveyard. Leave it be. I would do the same. I'd help people. I'd help my family first. I mean, that's what I did with my, the bit that was left, the 60,000 that was left from my award of 120,000. Titanic was built in Ireland, wasn't it? Belfast, was it? But sailed, I don't know, but sailed from an English port. I agree, creepy comfort. What they're going to do, are they going to find artifacts? Or are they just going to float around looking at the Titanic? For what reason? What I'd like to see is I very, very rarely would ever post a petition to anybody or ask them to sign it, but I have put a petition on my community post for Justian Assange. They want to deport him from Belmarsh prison in England to the US, where he faces 175 years in prison because of WikiLeaks, because he would let us know what was going on. Well, they did know, but I don't understand it. Was it Abraham Lincoln? He had wooden teeth. Was it Lincoln? And yeah, imagine wooden teeth. Oh gosh, I'm thinking porcelain. It's what's happened to my jaw, killing my jaw. It's the same as if something happened to my arm or my leg. It's just something that's happened. Oh, it was Washington, was it? Oh, hello, are you awake? You want to come and say hello? Come on then. Come on then, lazy bones. It's quite dark here. It started to rain. Isn't it funny with cats? I mean, changing the subject a bit. With cats, that about 7 o'clock at night, they start hunting. They start getting it as though you've given them a bowl of catnip. Or is it just her? And it goes on for about 3 hours. We do know, but we do all have a purpose. I mean, you say that since Noel died, that you've changed. I don't know. I think I have too. In that I can't find the energy to do anything. I can't. Nothing. I mean, I've come on here because I want to be honest about what's going on and help somebody else if possible. And we do all have a purpose. Yeah, we do. Maybe mine is to be like this. Maybe mine is to go out and spread the word. If you've got a problem, go and sort it out. Whatever it is. No, but I don't know why they did. Unless it was because they didn't get on with the ones that were on the NHS. I nearly fell on the chair. I'm going weird. I'm not kidding. Things are happening to me. Weird. My mum. Oh, Candy Apple. Thank you, sweetheart. I'm glad. Dark Art Dark. Hello. One thing I don't want to do is to ever be false with people. What's the point? Please go and have an apple with a bit. If she lets me. She's got one eye open. My son laughs. That's how she. Even when I'm in the shower, she comes in the bathroom. She won't leave me alone, and she sits outside the shower like this. You know, when you're coming out, and even when I go to the loo, she follows me. She's so funny. Do you know what? I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm so glad that I've been able to unburden things to you all. Forgive me if I've depressed you. I didn't mean to do that, but thank you, Dark. Hugs to you. And a toothless smile. Be a porcelain one soon, maybe. Do they, creepy? She does. She's got a litter tray. I mean, we're in different rooms now because I've got no bed in there. It's all a toy room until I get my bed. So she got toys in here. She got toys in there. She got toys in the kitchen. Water in here. Water in there. Water in the kitchen. Yeah, I've missed Dark. You've relaxed me. You've really helped me. So when I went to Claxon and I went in the office as an office junior, I wanted to learn to type, and they were going to teach me to type. My mum was only earning about £2.50 a week. £2.50. How much is that? 250 pence a week. Not much more than that. My mum wanted £2 a week off me, and for that, all I had was a bed, a single bed in a bedroom, and one evening meal. Nothing during the day. I know from experience now that I went home during the lunchtime for a break, or any time for a break, and said that, I wanted something to go mad. Your money doesn't run to that. Oh, it's dark. What are you going to have done to it? Do you mind if I go to lie down now? I'm feeling ever so sleepy. You're George Washington. I wouldn't say so, would you? Oh, dark, I'm sorry. Yeah, dark, that's the thing. They're actually, my opinion, I put on my community post. And I truly do believe it, that the elites want a world where there are only elites and where there are people who are subservient to them, slaves. Those of us in between, Roman Catholic, Jewish. Hi, Wilma. Hi, Winnie. You're talking to me now, Becca. I didn't have a choice of my first names, and then when it was my confirmation, I had to choose one. But I had to know about the saints. I think I know. Thank you, Doc. I hope I do. Honestly, I hope I don't upset anybody. You hear my voice going. I'm ever so sorry. I'm going to have to go and lie down. I think I will, Sarah. It just keeps on, it gets worse. Promise my son I'm going to get a doctor in straight away. I'm falling asleep. I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to go and put water on my face. It's starting to look like a vein pole. I'll be okay, right? I'm gonna go now and creepy comforting over and dark and everybody. I am. I'm not sleeping. I'll come back on later. She's scratching. Oi, Mrs. Come here. That's my favourite chair. Not going to be much left of it. Hey! I'll go now and I'll come back later. Thank you, everyone, and much love. Sarah, no. My son was here today. They came to take the bed today. I'll show you later. Harriet's got. I keep calling her Amber, my dog. Harriet's got a spare room to play in. I leave all the doors open for her, because except the front room downstairs. I don't leave that open because she can get into electricity. Hang on. Got ya. I got ya. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, everybody. Russia. You can have some water. Say bye-bye. Isn't she lovely? Dark, you can say anything you want to me. You can say anything you want to me. In private. Nova. Thanks, Sarah. CC. Nova, can you include Dark in our WhatsApp chat? Oh, I'm getting a new phone as well. A better one. Hello, my darling. What are you doing to my foot? I love you. Mommy loves you. I love you so much. I do. I do. Who's your my little girl? Look at the camera. Look, there's Harriet. Harriet Parks. Harriet Parks. I do. I'm just going like this, aren't I? That bed, it was absolutely bloody terrible. I don't know why. Does anybody know how I do this? If I put that book that I want to show you by Even Alexander, it's not coming to you in the right way, is it? The letters are around the wrong way. How do I flip the screen so it comes properly? I'll photograph it. I'll do video later and photograph it. I'm glad that I've shown you what's happening. And them two, I don't know how they're going to get around that. They don't want to take these out. They don't want to take all the back ones out. But I don't know. I just want what's best, and easiest. That's all. Time to go now, yeah. Claudia! Where have you been? Oh, great, Dark. Yes. Nova, please give Dark the link to get to us. Hi, Leo. Mary. Was it the right way round, Mary? Oh, it looked as though it wasn't. I love the name Mary. I've got a sister called Mary. She is now, well, she's older than my sister, who's in the nursing home. So she's got to be 88. And when she was young, I used to look up to her. She used to treat me as her baby, as though I was her daughter, and do everything for me. And at the age of 11, I was godmother to her daughter, very young. Have you read the book, Claudia? Oh, not off. Is that WhatsApp? Thanks. Oh, good K-Ray. K-Ray, I've got to say thank you to you as well for all your support. And everybody, really. I appreciate everybody. And Leo calls me Gran. I know it's you lot. I'll have a look in a bit. Yeah, Claudia, I'm going to take part in that, my darling, and I'll let you know what I do. I'll try and do a few. How many are you asking for? No, hi Eileen. Leah, I'm not really healing. I'd say that these teeth are gone, look. These teeth are gone. The one that had the abscess is loose. It's going like this, back and forwards. That one's broken, so they need to come out. They want to do implants. It's going to cost a lot of money if I do it, but that's not what's bothering me. I don't want the pain of what they're going to do. I don't want all the nonsense and fuss and the experimental stuff they're going to do. The Zeitgeist, if I've got the name right, implants would be, because my jaw's broken, they would have to link them to my cheekbones, not my jaw. I don't want that. I've got no vanity left. I think God, can you read that again? Sort this also. I think God, whoever, our creator, whatever, has stripped me of all false vanity. Completely. It doesn't matter to me what people like Chantal, Missy Moo say or do or poke fun. It doesn't matter to me. They can do it. And I'll laugh because I laugh at them. They're, particularly Chantal. She doesn't realise, does she? She's coming on YouTube to entertain people, and at the same time she's unaliving herself. And she's got no shame. None, what she's doing. What a waste of a life. 40 years old almost. And what has she done? She stays in that place all day, pretending to be Muslim. Throw off the cloak, get away from that religion, get away from those people, get away from it all. Leo, I don't know what yes, dentures. Does it, Eileen? Do you think so? Do you think so, really? Red pill. Hey, you've got a new fan in me. You have. Anybody listen to Red Pill? You should. Thank you, Dark, my darling. Right, I will, Nova. I'll end the live and I'll come back on later. What are you doing? Where you gone? Harriet, what are you doing? Oh, you can't see it. You can't. You see that little house there? Can you see? No. See your little house? This one. So that's that. She's inside there, scratching. It's moving. That's the first time she's bothered with it. She might sleep in there because we're sleeping in here tonight. Because I haven't got a bed. I've got the guest beds, but it's up on the next floor and it's up and down, up and down. And I've got people coming, so I don't want to have to sleep on one and change the sheets and then come. Oh, I can't bother with it all. Oh, Eileen, I'm so sorry. Don't worry, Leo, I'm coming back on later. Eileen, I'm so sorry. You're getting 2 cats in 10 days' time. We've got a friend and red pill. Yes, please do, and I'll come over to you as well. I was crying at the beginning, so I apologise. I didn't come on and mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. But I've opened up to you all today. I've completely opened up. I've got no vanity left. I've got no shame in what's going on. I've got no fear of anything, except the only fear I have, I think, is that there's nothing beyond this life, because this life is becoming, life in general is becoming so cheap. Canada with the maid thing, where assistance in dying, it's terrible. You know, the Hippocratic oath, first do no harm, and yet doctors are injecting people in order to end their lives. Oh my gosh, Eileen, she was 19. She was old, wasn't she? Dark, it's not YouTube's fault, it's my fault. I didn't put a notification out or anything. I just came, switched on, and thought, come and be yourself as you are, no makeup, and show people that you're a mess, basically, and be honest in what you talk about. And I hope you've enjoyed it, because I've really got something from this. Thank you. Yeah, everything's about money, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to end this, my loves, and thank you so much. And I'll probably come back on for a little while later. Good night, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. What time is it? Oh my gosh, it's 7 o'clock. Middle of nowhere. Hi. There's K-Ray again, Eileen Dark. Yeah, I didn't put notifications. I didn't do anything. This was just totally impulsive doing this. I'll come back on later for a little while. Bye, Leo. Love you all. God bless.